something that happened in the past that is triggered that we're now bringing into what's happening now, right? So, get it that, okay, this may not be the truth, this may be a belief. Then, make sure you have goals or desires. Know what they are. Write them down. I write goals every day, big, little, small, because then I know, is the next action I'm going to take appropriate to my dreams and goals, or is it going to be being right? No matter how I feel, then I can take actions that are appropriate to what I want, not what I'm afraid I'm not going to get. You look for the data. When you call your friend, because you're going to get triggered, don't be looking for agreement, look for facts. Say, this is how I'm feeling, I need to get a different perspective, because I need more facts. Because haven't you ever done that? It's like you read an email really quick, and you respond really bad, and then you go read that email again, and you're like, oh my gosh. That's not what they meant. I can see it clear now. Because when you got triggered, you're blind. But if you get more data, it can help you get out of that. And the major thing is practice appreciation. And I'm not saying, well, you're supposed to appreciate, so yeah, I appreciate my parents. No, feel it. I write down everything I appreciated that happened that day, because guess what? You're starting to clean your filter out and put your filter for what you appreciate instead of what you fear. And it's amazing how it, because I've got time when I was triggered just last couple of weeks ago, but because I know this and use this, I started seeing things that were amazing and I could really appreciate, even though I wasn't really feeling balanced. But I was able to take action that was consistent with what I wanted, no matter how I felt. That's training my body to say, okay, that trigger, that little filter that you said was danger, isn't really danger. So the next time something like that happens similar, it's just an annoyance. It doesn't send me somewhere. So it's practice that. Practice appreciation. One of the things that I did was in the safety of my own home, because a couple of years ago, I had this boss that was just not a very nice boss, right? And I was here. But I knew that being here, I wasn't going to get where I wanted to go. And appreciation was a key. I would practice appreciating, getting to that point of, thinking of somebody that I can't help but feel appreciation and love for. And then I practiced, that same feeling and applied it to somebody, that, yeah, okay, until I felt that same appreciation as a human being, until I felt it for that boss. And you're like, oh, yeah, but he's the enemy. No. He's an opponent that I can respect. I don't have to agree with what he does or how he behaves, because most of the time, he's here. But I don't want to be here, so I'm going to respect him, and it gave me options on how I could deal with him and the conversations I could have. Because here, it wasn't about having a conversation, you are a bad boss. It was, hey, this is what I want, and this isn't, what you're doing isn't helping me out. I was able to stand up for myself without annihilating somebody to do it, which was amazing for me, because it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't practiced that and hadn't had an appreciation for him as a human being. Useful? All right, so this is the emotional part and the mind part. Now, your body is going to tell you stuff too. So I'm going to hand it over to Suzi. And I don't know how much time we have.
I'm stressed.
But she'll give you more tips, because you want to take care of that body part too. Because the thing is, if you don't have any goals, all you have is survival. Remember that. And if your body is not, if you're tired and hungry and stressed all the time, you get into survival. Your body's saying, I'm in danger. So.
Get out of danger. Okay, let's start by assessing the stress in this room right now. All right, so here's a quiz that I want you to take. I want you to look at the picture that I'm going to show you in a minute. This was a very scientific study done by the University of, or St. Mary's Hospital, and what they found was when people looked at this picture of two dolphins jumping out of the water, the more differences they saw in those two dolphins, the more stressed those participants were, and the more they desperately needed a vacation. So assess your stress. All right. I don't see any different. All right. So before we can deal with our stress, we have to figure out where it's coming from. All right, because you have to. There's all different kinds of stress, and there's all different ways to deal with that stress. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to stand up quickly. I want you to point to where you feel your stress. Point. All right, now look around the room. people are pointing. You all don't have to point in the same place because people feel their stress differently everywhere. I had a guy in one seminar pointed to his back pocket, and I said, "How come you're pointing to your, to your butt?" And he said, "It's because it's where my wallet is. That's where my wife gets at all the time." So that's where he felt his stress. All right, go ahead and sit down. But you can tell that there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different places where we're going to feel our stress. So what we want to first do is learn how the body works and how it responds to fight or flight. Now, we know the brain controls everything, so when a stressor hits, the first thing that happens is the brain is surging with chemicals. So we've got these chemicals that start in the brain, and it goes down to the pituitary, and the pituitary sends a message to the adrenal glands, and this powerful stimulant called adrenaline takes place. Now, this happens in a blink of an eye, and what it's designed to is help you facing the tiger so you can fight or to run from the tiger, right? It's not designed for you to stay in that high chemical brain state for long periods of time. So consequently, when that happens, you start to experience this really alertness, and that alertness leads to tension headaches, which leads to really irritability. Then you get really aggressive, you can't concentrate, you get nasty, and if it's prolonged for a really long time, then depression sets in because it suppresses the hypothalamus, and those happy hormones can't get out when you're feeling like this, all right? So then from the brain, we go to the eyes. Do you ever look at a picture in the paper of like a politician who's under fire, or maybe one of those, those convict pictures that you see and you notice how their eyes bulge? All right, that's a sign of stress, basically, because you have to see the tiger. He's hiding in the woods, and you don't know where he is. So our vision gets so much better. And when our vision stays so acute like that, you get those annoying little eye ticks. Have you ever had that where it just clicks, and you're hitting yourself in the face trying to get it to go away? That's a sign of eye fatigue. And then the thyroid gets in, and that's where you get that bulging eye stuff from. And then on top of that, now your ears. You got, if you can't see the tiger, you might have to hear the tiger. He's running around in the grass. So our hearing gets really acute. When you're ever under a lot of stress and you're in the office, do you ever notice how everybody bothers you? All the talking, the phones ringing. If you're in the city, the sirens, all the noise, all this noise together under this kind of chronic stress is worse than one single jam-packed stress incident. So the ears take a hit as well. And then on top of that, what does your mouth feel? Generally, like when you go and you talk to your mouth, can you like get your words out sometimes because your mouth gets so dry because we start to breathe really shallow. So our mouth gets really dry, and then we even begin to clench our jaws. And then does anybody clench and grind their teeth at night? Yeah, where you have to like wear a little night guard, or you'll rub your teeth down to their nubs eventually. All right, that's a very common stress signal. All right, now look what happens to our hair. Who is usually the first person in your life that can tell when you're under severe stress? Your hairdresser. All right, they're always the one that comes and goes, "What's going on, honey? Look at your hair. What a mess. Your hair is dull, it's falling out, it's clumping." That's because your body really burns selenium under stress, and that affects the hair. All right, so now we've got hair issues going on, and then because we've got this shallow breathing, we begin to hyperventilate. And then as we hyperventilate, we can get dizzy, we can get pains in our diaphragm. If you have asthma or any kind of respiratory illness, then you're going to really feel under distress. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Put your feet flat on the floor once again. We do not know how to breathe in this country. Do you know that? The only people that know how to breathe are babies. Have you ever watched a baby breathe? You lie a baby down on this table, and what goes up and down? Now think, their stomachs. That big round stomach that's so cute goes up and down. You put me on this desk, on my back, chest is going up and down, not my stomach, because we don't know how to breathe, all right? So here's what I want you to do. We're just going to do like two of them. I want you to focus on breathing in through your nose, holding it, and then breathing out through your mouth to the point to where you're really expanding your stomach. Okay, so breathe in, hold it, now push it out through your stomach. Okay, now really try hard this time. Breathe in and out. pushing all that air out. You instantly dropped your blood pressure. And I have done that in a group with a blood pressure cuff on to prove my point. All right, we don't know how to breathe. When you get under stress, this is your number one stress mechanism to use. Slow, deep breathing. When you can't sleep at night and you need to relax, slow, deep breathing. This is what's going to help you get out of it. And you know how it feels in your heart. When you get under stress, your heart starts pounding because your blood pressure goes up. And as your heart starts to pound, you get those palpitations, you get a little bit of chest pains. And if you have a heart disease, oh, we're in trouble, all right, when you're under chronic stress. In addition, our immune system probably takes the biggest hit of anything. And it's not just always negative stress that can affect the immune system. How many of you know marathon runners? Any friends who run marathons? I have a lot of friends who are big-time runners. I want to tell you, every single time the marathon's over, that's a tremendous stress on your body, training for 26 miles, and then the event itself. I don't think our bodies are designed for that, all right? I really don't. Every single one of them ends up 2 weeks out of exercise and they're all sick, all right? Because that's the way their immune system has just been shot. I mean, it's just been hit. Your white blood cell count goes down. You're more susceptible to colds, to illnesses, to problems. So, you know, it's really, really important for us to manage our stress so we can stay well. You don't want to get vaccinations when you're under stress. And our skin gets nasty. Everybody ever hear that phrase, you're white as a ghost? Our little capillaries start to dilate under our skin and we get really white, we get itchy, we get hives, all those things relate to stress. Our muscles and joints and our bones are affected because our body's sending the message that, hey, we got to run from the tiger, so everything contracts, so muscles contract. And when muscles contract, then we're more prone to muscle strains and pulls, and even bone density starts to drop. So that becomes problematic. And then I think I saw a lot of people pointing to their stomach because digestion will take a huge hit under stress, and you can feel it in your stomach. The body diverts blood from digestion because it needs to be ready to run, so it's diverting it to the other systems. And you end up with indigestion and diarrhea and constipation and acid and, oh, all sorts of nasty things. And you've all felt that, so you know how that feels. And then here's this really interesting thing to me is infertility is huge. Our reproductive system takes a huge hit when we're under a lot of stress. Our body is basically saying, you guys are under way too much stress to handle a baby right now. So this isn't going to happen. And then all of a sudden they decide, okay, we're going to relax, not worry about it. And what happens? Baby. All right? So it's very, very common. So now that we've followed and traced this past the stress, now what we need to understand are the types of stress we're dealing with. There are two types of stress that we spend all our time in. Do you know which of these four, which two those are? Anybody? Idea? Situational stress. It's not so much.
Anticipation.
We spend most of our time in anticipatory stress and residual stress. You know what those are? Stress to the future, stress to this past. We spend all our time worrying about what's going to happen or what already happened. You know, who did what to me when? We obsess about that. What should we do about that? Forget it. Okay, unless it's serious and we need therapy. But if it's just like, you know, somebody did me wrong yesterday, we need to forget it and move on. Okay, and then what about anticipatory stress? Stress of the future.
Can't change it.
Well, yeah, and it kind of depends upon how old you are. The older you get, the less of a future you tend to have to worry about. So when you're really young, you got lots of stuff going on that you're worrying about. So what do you do when you're worried about things that haven't happened yet? Make a plan. All right, if you're worried about your retirement and you're 25, make a plan. Get your 401k. Do whatever it is that you need to do so you can forget about it. Because we spend most of our time in these two areas that we forget to live in the now. And then we stop enjoying our life. Oh my gosh, do you know how many years I went through not enjoying vacation? Because I would go on vacation, I'd walk into the airport and I'd go, 5 days I'm going to be leaving. My vacation will be over. And I'd be thinking about that before I even got on the plane and left. And then I'd be on vacation and I'd be thinking, 4 more days. 3 more days. Oh my God, 2 more days. I missed my whole vacation, darn it, because I was stressed out over coming home. I don't do that anymore. I really make myself focus on it. So, you know, those are the two stresses we can kind of mitigate. Now, situational stress and chronic stress. Chronic stress is difficult because this is stuff that's happened long term. This is like a bad relationship, a bad job, a bad spouse. I mean, this is a bad thing that's happened. So what do you do for those long periods of time? I mean, if you're taking care of a sick relative, can you go, oh my gosh, like in 3 weeks we're going to do this? No, you can't. You have to live moment to moment. Or if it's a bad day at work, you can't think at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're looking at all the stuff you have to do. You can't go, oh my God, 5 o'clock. Will 5 o'clock ever get there? No, you have to go, okay, I can make it till 8:15. And then at 8:15 you say, I can make it to 8:30. So you have to do moment to moment, minute to minute. All right, now with situational stress, this is the stress that hits right at the moment when the boss literally walks in the door. And he goes, I would like to see you right now. All right, and then what you find out is all those emotions start to run rampant. And what should you do? You stop. You stop, give it your attention first. You breathe so you can get clear head. Okay, you reflect. Is this a big deal? Is this going to affect me like long term? And then you decide, you choose how you're going to answer in a positive way, how you're going to treat it positively. All right, so stop, breathe, reflect on the issue, and then choose how to respond. All right, I know we're running out of time. There are 4 ways to deal with stress throughout the normal course of a day. And I want you to think about this. You have to match the kind of stress you're having with the proper stress response. If you have sat at your desk all day and not moved at all, going home and plopping yourself on the couch and putting your feet up with a drink is not going to relieve your stress. Okay, because you've been inactive all day long. You need to get out and you need to walk, clear your head, get some exercise. All right? However, if you've had a day where you've run around all day long solving everyone's problem, then you need some non-productive time. That's when you sit down and you put your feet up and you watch a movie and you give yourself permission to be non-productive. And what about those days when you absolutely do everything right and you're so productive? You've done, you've answered everybody's questions and you've solved all their problems, all right? Then that's a time for you just maybe to go home and unwind, listen to soft music on the way home to get some comfort, all right? And then when you've had those days that have been horribly frustrating or boring, someone said earlier, you've got nothing done, go home and clean out your sock drawer. Do something that is productive, no matter how small it is, and it will make a huge, huge difference. Once you get your stress management techniques together, you will start to build resiliency. And building resiliency is all about your internal and your external resources. Do you know that 80% of the messages we send to ourselves are negative? So how do you turn that around? I'll show you what I do. This is my favorite thing in the world. This is my turn it around, be good to yourself bag. I want you to listen to what it says because I play it for myself every morning.
You're just fabulous. You're really super. You look good. You feel good. And gosh darn it, people like you. You go.
I feel pretty fabulous after I play that. So make a list of your positive things. Talk to your friends. What do they like about you? Okay, say positive, good messages to yourself. And then build an external network of family and friends and business associates and church associates so you can have a network of people who can support you. That's how you become a more resilient person. All right, finally, my final thought to you is this. Don't let yourself get stuck in a downward spiral because oftentimes what happens is we just don't look at our problems the right way. We only see problems. Look at your problems as new opportunities.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come.
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm going to cry.
Well, there's nothing else left to do. So.
Don't get stuck. All right? Have a great day.
guys, before you leave today, make sure that you fill out your conference survey, and then you can hand it to the back table. But on behalf of the National Association of Asian Professionals in Dallas-Fort Worth, Martha and Susie would like to present to you a little thank you plaque for being here today. And then also, bonus, a 1-year free membership to our group. So we
Oh,
keep that
thank
in
you so
mind.
much.
Thank you.
That's so sweet.